I had everything. I had a huge house. I had cars, boats, motorhomes. Anything I wanted, I could buy, not only for me, but for other people. It was awesome. The only problem was the first night that I laid in my humongous house that I built for my wife, because that was her dream house, for the first time ever in 32 years, I was unhappy. I lied there empty. I lied there empty because my whole life I attached my happiness to outcomes. I believe in goals. I believe in objectives. I believe in your vision more than most people. And I can teach you how to manifest what you dream. But don't attach your happiness to it. Because the worst thing happened to me, it all came. And it came bigger than I dreamed. Because I started realizing that I was living in, I say I was living in God's favor. I had a touch of favor. I live in the universe's favor. And the universe has way more in store for us than anything. And I had to shift my life because I'm like, oh my gosh. And I felt guilty. I felt not worthy. I sat in bed thinking, my mom made $17,000 a year and I made $10 million this year. I held my mom up here. And so all this energy. And so what did I do to solve that problem? Well, I became a big asshole. Like most people when they have a problem. They go to blame, shame, and justification. I started surrounding myself with the wrong people and the wrong ideas. People that will tell me how great I am. Give me a false sense of security, a false sense of who I was. I forgot all the things my mom taught me. So what happens? I get involved. I come home one night drunk. There may have been some other things involved. 5:30 in the morning. Became friends with a rapper up at the Grammy Awards, thinking I was something I wasn't, lying to my wife. I came home at 5:30 and there's the 5'1" silhouette of my dream girl waiting for me. I walked up and she looked at me and she said, you are not a rock star. You know, buzzed as I was, I looked at her, I said, I may not be, but I sure feel like one. And you should see the look on her face, send me up to a different room like I was 7 years old. I went upstairs, woke up, hungover, kind of remembered what happened. Never been so unhappy in my life, disappointed in my life. And then I had to walk downstairs to find out I wasn't the only one that was unhappy, right? My wife was unhappy. And my answer in my head initially was, what are you talking about? There's a nanny on that wing. There's a Ferrari and a Porsche in that garage. There's 2 other cars in this garage. These 3 beautiful kids of ours have everything that they need. And she looked at me and she said, literally, you are an asshole. And you better go back and take stock in who you were and what you want to become, or else it's going to become not me here. Unlike most people, I listened. I spent one day thinking about it, depressed, a little bit in anger and shame. And then I said, you know what? She's right. And I went back and I thought, who am I? Right? I'm not just rich. Who am I? I started realizing there was 4 things that I had that most people didn't focus in on. Number 1 was gratitude. You want to change your life? 2 simple words. Say thank you. Say it before you go to bed and when you wake up. And do it for 30 straight days. 30 straight days. Just say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up. Who here thinks they can say thank you for 30 straight days? Yeah, you think so. Here's the saddest thing about my life. As I travel around, I was in front of 2,600 people for Denny's, franchise owners, fairly successful entrepreneurs. I asked the same question, and in my mind I'm thinking, by tonight, half of you won't say thank you. By tomorrow morning, another half of you won't say thank you, and within 3 days, most of us won't say thank you.
One thing that most athletes like yourself and most business people as well, so I've been more, after I played football in college, all strictly about money, was I always attached my happiness to an outcome. And racing's an outcome.
Detach from outcomes. It's like one of the detach from outcomes and the law of least resistance.
So explain to me, because I have my own philosophy, how can you be so competitive, which you still are in the business world, and for a few more races, but how can you, what does it mean to you to detach from the outcome but still be goal-oriented?
Well, I believe that I don't believe I always know the best way to get there. And so how am I to know that I'm actually reaching the final the final phase or the final outcome of something by one turn along the way. You know what I mean? Like how is this thing that I have to do next, or this way this position I've been put in or forced into in some way, which might actually be, of course, the right direction, and it might help me to get to where I need to go. And so, how am I supposed to know how I'm supposed to get to my furthest outcome, the highest level of something? I don't know those things. That's why I encourage people. I mean, every time I do a speech, I every single time, no matter what age they are, and in fact, the older the better usually for this message, is to ask everyone, not right at the moment because I want them to pay attention to me, but but think about what it is that you could do if you could do anything in the world. Like, that's it. Just think about what your furthest out there, loftiest dream is. I don't care how big it, like, I don't care if it's literally fly to the moon with your arms. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever your loftiest dream is, what is it? Because if you don't know what it is, you're never going to get there. And kids have, like you said, before you're 5, you have this genius potential, and then you're conditioned by society, and you lose that spark, you lose that fire, that light, and your chakras are dimming by the second. And so anyway, it's the adults need it the most because it's never too late.
You're a guy who stays present, right? You live in the moment.
Oh yeah.
How do you teach somebody to detach from an outcome? So, there's a conflict between you have plenty of goals, I'm sure, a great vision, but you like to live in the moment. How would you describe to those people, hey, this is how I have a goal, but I live in the moment? Explain what that means to you.
For sure. And it's taken me a while to realize that. I used to always just be about future. This is going to get me this, which is going to get me that. But I've realized that, look, for just living and being happy, you have to embrace everything that's going on. Like, look where I am. Look who I'm talking to. And we're talking about Warren Moon, and he wants to be, what the hell is going on? Like, if you would have told me this as a kid, and you have to embrace and realize those things, not satisfy and like quit, but, kind of embrace those things and live in the moment, but always have an eye on the future and what's next. It's playing that balance game and remembering the past, not enough to dwell on it, but to learn from, and always looking forward, but also, living it for right now, because that's all that's here. Future isn't guaranteed, so you can't put all your eggs in that basket.
For sure. Last question, it's a unique one, but define happiness for me.
Yeah. Happiness is getting up every morning and being excited to get out of bed. I think, that's really the key. It's something, the last thing, and we've all had, everybody's been depressed and been sad. So, there's nothing worse than not wanting to get up and do things and not being motivated. So for me, it's just getting up, getting out and doing it. That means you're happy because you're looking forward to the next day. You're looking forward to that. I can't wait till when I wake up in the morning. It's like, I got to get the sleep done with so I can get to the next thing.
And I think the biggest problem with athletes is they attach their happiness and their identity to playing football.
Oh, so much. I mean, I can really trace it back for me, like to 5 years old was like the moment that I realized I was like different. Not different, like look different, talk different, walk different. Like my brain was different. And I went to school and got in trouble every single day of kindergarten for the first 5 days. And I remember coming home on a Friday and just crying on my mom's lap and being, Mom, I'm so different. It's so hard for me to not get in trouble. And it like really hurt because I just wanted to go to school and be a good boy and not get in trouble like everybody else. But with like extreme ADHD, it was really difficult for me. And I'm not saying my parents did anything wrong, but the only time and my parents were wonderful, but the only time I really felt celebrated or worthy of like love and attention and adoration and encouragement is when I was playing sports, because between the chalk lines or on the track or on the basketball court, I was dominant. And it wasn't because I was bigger or stronger. I was just winning and losing to me were the world, because if you attach your self-worth to winning and losing, you're going to try harder, you're going to train harder, and you're going to take it more serious than any other kid that exists. Because if you lose, you feel like you're completely worthless and you don't belong around, you don't deserve your life. And so I attached my self-worth to winning and losing, which drove me to, 4-sport All-State and then go to college and 2-sport All-American, then go to the pros, play for 10 years, and all the awesome, amazing blessings that I've been able to achieve because of my insatiable drive to like be the best and to win. But looking back on my life and going through like the last year and a half of my life, really trying to figure out like what I want my legacy to be and I'm very clear about it now, is I want to be so inspirational and so impactful and so helpful in people in becoming their best self, whether that's a dad, whether that's a mom, whether that's a sports agent, a doctor, a garbage man, a fireman, a policeman, it doesn't matter. I want you to be able to realize the blessings that you have around you, because I didn't enjoy any of my sports career because it was always, get into the NFL. Okay, I'm in the NFL. I don't celebrate it because now you have to, get these statistics, and then once you get these statistics, let's get to 4 years in the NFL, because if the league
Second
average is
contract.
3.1, and I just wanted to get vested. I wasn't even worried about my second contract. And then once you get to you're vested in your fourth year, okay, let me get $1 million in the bank. And then once you do that, then it's like, let me win a Super Bowl. Let me play for 10 years. Let me get a $13 million contract. And you just keep checking all these things off your list. And my life my goals weren't goals anymore. They became a to-do list. And nobody celebrates a to-do list, like go pick up dry clean,
right.
Go pick up the kids from school, go pick up groceries. Nobody celebrates that. And so my goals, I interpreted them as to-do lists, so I would achieve amazing things, Dave, and never celebrate them because it was on to the next thing, onto the to-do list. And then when your football career, you decide this is unfulfilling to me. Like, this isn't fun anymore. There's got to be more out there in life for me. And that's when I discovered, my skill and my passion for helping people via health and wellness. And now I'm transitioning from health and wellness into so much more in 2019. But I just don't want anybody to ever live the life that I lived as a pro athlete, because I should have so many incredible memories. And the only great memories I have is when I look back at pictures, because in that moment, I was never able to acknowledge myself for the accomplishment, because that was my entire self-worth. So if I didn't win, I was worthless. And if I did win, the majority of the time I'm giving all the credit to my coaches, to my teammates, to my wife for supporting me, for my friends for making sacrifices. And if I lost, it was complete ownership, and depression sets in, anxiety sets in, you're worthless, the conversations in your head start rolling. That's a terrible way to live.